Hello, everybody. I'm Laura Peterson, your host of Central Florida Real Estate Radio. I'm from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and to discuss the sale of your home, you can call or text 407-566-2555. That's 407-566-2555. So lots of great stuff to go over today. Just a lot going on in real estate, and I've got the stats as always. And I was talking to some people this week, and they were telling me that, that there's all this doom and gloom and all of that kind of stuff. And I just said, okay, let's really look at it. And so we pulled up the stats, and we were looking at what's going on and what has happened in the last year. And they realized that basically the bottom line is that obviously it's whoever you're talking to that's going to, help guide or whatever you think. But basically, when it comes down to it, our market is extremely stable. Houses are selling. We put a house on the market this week. We sold it in one day. And a lot of that was our marketing and everything that we did, but it's also that the buyers are out there, purchasing properties, and it went right at asking price. And what I have been telling all of the sellers is that basically, from what I have seen, is that if you price your property correctly in this market, it will sell. If you price it higher, you're just going to sit there because you can say, well, I think people will offer less. Well, maybe they will, and maybe they won't. They might not even make it to your house because they have other choices. And when they have other choices, obviously they want to do things as expediently and everything as they can, and they don't want to take the chance that maybe they could, find what you're telling them, at the price that they want to pay, but they don't know for sure. So they're not even going to take that chance. They don't have to, because there are other houses that are priced appropriately, and they just catch it and win and run and everything. And so that's basically, what it is. And when I'm talking about the number of sales that close every week and that are sold every week, and basically the median price, you can see that we're in a very consistent, stable market. And this week there were 426 homes that sold. It was 447 the week before, so within 20, so really, pretty similar. The median price is at 428,950, which is down just a tad. And the inventory is still increasing, so it went up 79 to 7159. So when you're looking at that based on the sales for this week, you're at 3.88 months of inventory overall. And again, as I'm always talking about, real estate is extremely local, extremely, neighborhood by neighborhood even, and everything, and seeing, what's going on and what can happen and all of that kind of good stuff. So basically, of the 426 that sold, 39 were under 250, and there's 2.12 months of inventory there. Between 250 and 300, there were 29 that sold, and there's 2.67 months of inventory in that price point. Between 300 and 400, there were 107 that sold and 2.86 months of inventory. Between 400 and 500, 102 sold, but there are 3.38 months of inventory, so we're starting to get up there. Now, 500 to a million, there were 123 that sold, but there are 5.26 months of inventory there. And over a million, 26 sold, and there's 838 in inventory, which is 7.47 months. So you can see that basically, when you're getting to those higher price points, that people definitely have a lot more options. So really where it starts to change is at the 400,000 mark, and that's where you go to 3.38, and then you kind of go up from there. So basically, when you're looking at it, and we're not talking about the condos, townhomes, and villas, we're just talking about single family homes. And so when you're in that, 500, 400, 500 and above, everybody doesn't qualify for those loans either. And so a lot of times affordability is why the houses under 400 sell faster as well. And there's less inventory because, more people can afford them. So basically, what happens is that when the more expensive your house is, the more that you're asking for it, the more competition there is, at which provides that you've just got to be stronger in regards to, what you're doing. So basically, looking at everything a little bit further, the average price to sale ratio is at 96.92. Under 250, it was at 94.18. Then it went to 97.61, 98.28, 98.09, and 97.78 is actually 500 to a million. And then over $1 million is 93.52. So basically, we're staying very consistent as we do every week, that the low end and the high end have more room than the others. The high end over $1 million, just because people want to change things out. A lot of choices, and they negotiate. Under 250, there's not as many choices, because remember, we only had 2.12 months of inventory. But those houses usually have something that needs to be fixed up. So when something needs to be fixed up, what happens is that people will obviously offer less than what the asking price is, and that's why there's so much room there under 250. And so that they're selling less than asking and everything. And so basically, when you're looking at that, you just have to be aware of what's going on in the market. And we do a very extensive look-see in regards to what's going on. And so with that, we can absolutely, help everybody figure out what's the best path to go, what's the best way to go in order to make things happen. And so that's what we do. And we're more than happy to meet with anybody. There's never any obligation when you meet with us to see what your options are. And so we're more than happy to do that. But if you're a buyer, we love working with you as well, because what we do with the buyers is we go ahead and we find exactly, what you're looking for that's on the market, but then we're also looking to find out what's out there off the market. So I'm going to go and now talk about the condos, townhomes, and villas and see basically what's going on in regards to them. So my report kind of got messed up here. Here it is again. Okay. So basically, when you're looking at the condos, townhomes, and villas, there were 146 sold last week, and it was 128 the week before. So basically, the number that was lost in the houses was gained in the condos and townhomes and villas. So the same number closed from week to week. The median price of them increased to $299,500. So $299,500 versus $428,950 is the difference. So I've noticed that there's a trend that the condos, townhomes, and villas are definitely going up when you're looking at it. So that's basically what's happening with them. And basically, so that's kind of the scoop when we're trying to figure all of that kind of good stuff out. Okay. So let's look at all of the other stats that come with them as well. So the under 250 of the 146, there were 43 of them. So obviously the most of them are there. There were 20 between 250 and 300, 47 between 300 and 400, 14 between 400 and 500, 12 between 500 and a million, and over $1 million, none of them sold. So basically, when you're looking at the months of inventory, they're even higher. They're at 5.6 overall. And nothing is under 5. They're all 5 and above all the way across the board, except for over $1 million, which is at 0, obviously, because nothing sold. But they're at 97.41 overall, 96.23 under 250. Then they go up to the 98s all the way across for where there were sales. So basically, it follows kind of along the single-family homes in regards to what's happening and everything there, but just a lesser number in what's going on. So in order to get in touch with us, you can call or text 407-566-2555. You can find us online at centralfloridarealestateradio.com, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Laura Peterson, your host of Central Florida Real Estate Radio. I'm from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and to discuss the sale of your home, you can call or text 407-566-2555. That's 407-566-2555. So one of the things that, I've spoke about on and off before our cash offer program and what's on out there. And it's actually evolving into an offer program is what it is. So it's not just cash offers, but there are multiple offers that you can get. And so basically, what I'm so excited about and what is so good is that when I'm meeting with the seller, which any of you that you'd like to meet with, I'm more than happy to do that. And we do have a website, and I'll talk about it next week. It's in process of just being updated a little bit that anybody can go to. And if you go to it, then we're more than happy to put in your information, and you'll get offers immediately on your property. So some of them are cash offers. Some of them are, there's a cash and lease back, which means that you get the majority of your cash from your house. You sell it now, but you're able to lease it back for a year. So that's a pretty awesome program, especially if you know that you're going to be moving out of the area, if you know you're going to be moving somewhere else, and you don't want to have your house at the back of your head of something that you've got to deal with when the time is right and everything to get that going. There is a cash and sell where you get the majority of your money now. You're able to move on and do that right away. And then there's a brand new one that's called fix and sell. And so what that one is that we have a company that we work with that if you have any kind of repairs that you need, and the only things that they won't do is they won't do any foundational things, and they won't do anything with adding an addition. But if you needed a new roof, if you needed your kitchen updated, you wanted to paint, you wanted to do carpet, any other kind of flooring or anything that you wanted to do, it's absolutely possible with this company. And you might go, but I don't have the money. And that's okay, because they will pay the money. So basically, it's a company that has a lot of contractors, and thankfully they're in our area. And what they do is they come in, they do a whole analysis of your house. They might even do staging if you wanted them to do that. But they come in and they do a complete analysis in regards to what is, what they think they can do that will bring in more money for your home. And then what they will do is they'll manage the whole project. They will hire the contractors. They will pay the contractors. They will make sure that it all gets done very quickly and everything. And then you put it on the market at a higher price with getting that ROI, and they get paid at closing. So they get paid when the property actually sells. So you can do all of those upgrades, and you don't have to take the money out of your pocket until it's the closing day. And what they show to you and prove to you, and we work right along with them in doing this, is that what we actually do is we do an analysis. Okay, if you spent, say, $20,000 on your house, then you would be able to get $40,000 out of it. You'd get $40,000 more for your sale if you did that stuff. And so obviously that makes sense. You spend 20 and you make an extra 40. So you're netting 20. And so those are the kind of projects and the things that they do. And they do this, day in and day out. They do it all over the country. And they've got, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, 25 areas. And the Orlando area is one of them. So that's basically, what they do is they come in, they make all of those upgrades. And again, you get paid at closing. So you might say, well, if I had a new roof, I know that my house would sell. Well, guess what? They'd put a roof on there for you, and then you would be able to sell it and move on, and everything would be awesome. And so basically, when it comes down to it, that's absolutely another option that we have for you. So all of the options that we have are not options that work for everybody, but there's one of them that is going to work for everybody. For example, if you want to sell your house regularly, then we guarantee a price that we're going to sell it for. And if we don't, then we will pay the difference. So obviously there's conditions and everything to all of that, just like there's conditions to everything. But basically the bottom line is we put our money where our mouth is. We make sure that you're getting the best possible deal that you absolutely could on your house and that your goals are being met. And so if you want to sell it the traditional way, that's usually where you'll make the most money. Perhaps it's with this fix and sell that you'll make the most money. So you can actually flip your own house, don't have to pay the money to do it, still be living in it while all this is going on, and then sell your house for more. So how cool is that? So you can do that. And then there's other people that say, I don't want anyone coming through while I'm here. And that's okay. We've got the solution for that too. So with over our 70 companies now that we have that are on this site that are making offers and that are looking at what's going on, including ourselves, we can make the best option for everybody out there, that we can give you options when it comes to selling your property. What's going to work best for you and your family, and what's going to make the most sense for you and your family. And that's what I love about it, is that it just takes everything to that next level to make sure that we're giving you exactly what you want in whatever way that you want. And so if you're not in the Orlando market and you're somewhere else listening to this show and you wonder if you have it there, I can tell you that they probably do. I know that we can get a price on a house anywhere in the U.S., that up to $3.5 million, that we can get you a price on your house. So basically, you can sell it the next day. I mean, it can go under contract. They take about 21 days to get everything all done, because with all of the properties, obviously they have to do title searches and those kinds of things. And if you're in a homeowners association, the estoppels, which tells, it's a document that the HOA prepares on how to transfer over, for a property. So in many communities, there's a capital contribution. In many communities, there's, they have to just make sure that your dues are up to date and all of those kinds of things. So they check all that stuff, and the homeowners associations have 15 days to get that done. So as a result of that, some of them get it done quicker, some of them get it done slower, but that's why they take 21 days to closing. And most of the title searches and those kinds of things can be done within 24 hours, and provided that there's nothing, goofy going on with it, they can close possibly even quicker, but they tell everybody 21 days or longer. So you can pick your closing date, though. If you want to close 90 days from now, that's okay. They're totally good with that. And, everything's good to go. So you don't have to have people traipsing through your house. You don't have to always have it clean. You don't have to always, have it in tip-top shape. I'm not saying you don't always have your house clean, but there's a difference when you have people coming in and there might be things that you have laying around that you don't want laying around for everybody to see, and all those kinds of things. So basically this gives you the options, whatever it might be that you want to do in order to take things to the next level. So I just think I'm so excited that through our program that we're able to offer so many options to people, and not just the traditional things when it comes to selling your house. And so I think that it's really important that everybody looks at that, knows that, and then you make a decision in regards to what's best for you when it comes down to all of that. And so basically the bottom line is that we're here to serve, as we always are. We want to make sure that you've got absolutely all of the tools in your tool belt that you need to make the best possible decision. And so when we come and meet with you to give you an idea of what your home's worth, we're coming in with a lot of these offers, and they're preliminary offers, obviously, because we hadn't seen your house. But once we see it, we can take it to that next level and make some things happen. So there's a lot of great things that we have on the horizon that are outside of the box that a lot of other companies don't have. And we're just excited that we can be different and offer these things right now up front to any seller and make your life easier, because that's what it's all about, right? So in order to get in touch with us, you can call or text 407-566-2555. You can find us online at centralfloridarealestateradio.com, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Laura Peterson, your host of Central Florida Real Estate Radio. I'm from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and to discuss the sale of your home, you can call or text 407-566-2555. That's 407-566-2555. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is really buyers. And you may have heard in the National Association of Realtors was sued recently, as well as some other companies, in regard by some sellers because they didn't like the fact that they were paying the commission to the buyer's agent. And, I tend to agree that it doesn't seem to make sense, and we've thought that for a long time. If you look through the history books of when real estate agents and everything started, is that the buyer's agent was paid by the buyer and the seller's agent was paid by the seller. And then somewhere along the way, it kind of went so that the seller paid all of it. And, when you look at it, they really didn't pay all of it, because the bottom line is that the commission comes out of the proceeds of the sale. And so when you're looking at it, that the commission's coming out of the proceeds of the sale, so the seller, because the buyer needed that money to close and they needed to pay their agent and all of that kind of thing, they definitely probably would have paid the same amount out that they did the first time. The buyer would have offered less for the house because they had to pay the agent's commission. So when you look at it all, the commissions come out of the proceeds of sale. And but there's a new, because of this lawsuit and everything that happened as a result of it, there's some new practices that are coming into play. Actually, starting August 5th is when it officially goes into effect. And basically, the bottom line is that what's going on is that that a few years ago, the National Association of Realtors said that all the realtors had to offer something to the buyer's agent. Now, you could offer $1, but they had to offer something. So that's what these sellers were upset about. And so basically the bottom line is that it came back that it was a form of, from my interpretation, no attorney, don't know it all, but kind of like a form of price fixing, that you felt like you had to do something and it didn't seem fair. And when you think about it, it's like if you're in a contest with somebody about something and both of you have attorneys to represent yourself, the one person doesn't pay for the other person's attorney. Everybody pays for their own attorney and you just call it a day, and that's the way it works. And so it does have a lot of sense to it, the way that it's heading towards, that the buyer's agent pays, the buyer pays their agent, the seller pays their agent. And we have done this for years because we have agreements that we do with buyers and stuff, and with sellers. And so we negotiate with each buyer and seller up front what our fee is going to be, and how it works for them and how it's all going to happen and shake out and all of that kind of stuff. So there's no surprises, and they're all good to go on all of it. And but in the multiple listing service, it has been over the last, ever since I've been a realtor, which is 19 years now, basically it's always been that it said in the MLS sheets how much the seller is offering to the buyer's agent. And so that is going away as of August 5th. So right around the corner here, that the multiple listing service will no longer have in it what the commission is that the buyer's agent is going to get. So they're going to be forced to negotiate their own fee, is basically what it's coming down to. Now, I welcome this. I think it's great. Like I said, we've been doing it for years, so it's not really any difference in the way that we do business. But, I do know that there are agents out there that will search for the house that they want to show people based on what they're going to get paid. And they could just resolve it by having an agreement with the buyer in regards to what they're going to get paid. So it's really, not a big deal. But basically the bottom line is that it's going to be a little bit of difference maybe when you're working with a buyer's agent and they're going to ask you potentially and probably and should to sign an agreement with them before you look at houses. And that's just going to be a requirement, based on, the way business is heading this way and what's going to happen. So basically there are new forms out there and everything for everybody to fill out and all of that to make sure that everybody is in agreement and knows what's going on. And the Florida state law does say that before you see a house, that's when you need to have your agreement signed, because you need to know, basically what everybody's planning, what everybody's thinking, everybody's on the same page and everything like that. And so it makes sense. I think it's a win-win situation to basically do it that way. But there are, a lot of people out there that are wondering, well, how is this going to affect everything? But when you look at it, as I said, it's the commissions are out of the proceeds of the sale. And so if a buyer has to pay their own commission, then they might offer less on the property. So as a result of that, the seller is still going to be making the same amount because they're going to, the buyer has the amount of money that they have. They're willing to spend this amount, which includes the commissions and everything, in order to make things happen. So it doesn't have to be a lot different. It doesn't have to be really complicated. And that's really the way that we're looking at it, in making sure that, our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. But like I said, we've been doing it for years. So it's business as usual for us, but for a lot of people, it is not. And I have never looked at what has been paid, what was being paid, as a buyer's agent on the MLS, because I always knew I was protecting myself. And, when you're looking for that best property for the buyer, you're not going to be looking at the commission. If you're looking at that commission, you're looking out for yourself as opposed to looking out for the consumer. And with all of the things that we have, we definitely are looking out for the consumer. And so I think that that's a good thing. I think that's the way that things should be. And I'm looking forward to the future. But, if you're working with a buyer's agent and they're a little confused about that, basically, or they ask you to sign a paper that you never had to before, the reason for that is because of everything that's going on right now. And so it's just going to be a win-win situation for you and for the buyer's agent, whoever's representing you on that, to make sure that everybody is on the same page, that we're doing what we need to do, and that everybody's in agreement as you go into it. It's like when you meet with the seller, you negotiate what the commission is that is going to be paid. And so it's no different with the buyer, is basically what it is. And so it's just a win-win situation all the way across the board. And I think that's awesome. So I, as of August 5th, it's completely going away on our local MLS. And so any, agent that wants to know what it is, they're going to have to do an agreement with their buyer and then go into it, getting it. So good things are happening, and you can take the, what people look at as doom and gloom and, oh my gosh, and go, this is a great opportunity for everybody to really be above board, make it clear, because commissions are negotiable and they are negotiated. And so when it comes down to it, you want to make sure that you're getting the value that you want. And that's absolutely the way that we do it. So it's like, I'm going to show you what I can do for you, and what I do costs X amount of dollars. And if that's what you want, if you're willing to pay that, then we can do business and everything. And, you're going to want those services that I offer. I do have somewhat of a menu that you can pick, different services and that kind of thing that you want. But when it comes down to it, basically you're in control. And that's what's really important. So in order to get in touch with us, you can call or text 407-566-2555. You can find us online at centralfloridarealestateradio.com, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Laura Peterson, your host of Central Florida Real Estate Radio. I'm from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and to discuss the sale of your home, you can call or text 407-566-2555. 407-566-2555. That's 407-566-2555. So wanted to talk a little bit today in regards to housing and affordability and everything. And first of all, there is a program out there that is available that is called Hometown Heroes. And it's affordable housing program that offers 0% interest down payment and closing cost assistance to people. So basically there's when you come down to it, that there's a lot of options in order for this. This is something that Hometown Heroes, the list of occupations that fit this is quite diverse and everything. But each year the Florida legislature decides how much of the trust fund money is going to go to affordable housing programs, and this activity is at the core of the public policy efforts in this area. And so they go ahead and they do that. So this affordable housing priority and activities shows lawmakers how these programs improve people's lives, educating them on excellent return on investment they provide, and advocating that they will allocate as many trust fund dollars as possible to the programs so that more people can be helped. So basically, when it comes down to it, it's a great opportunity for first-time buyers. And a first-time buyer is considered somebody who hasn't owned a home for 3 years. So if you sold your house multiple years ago and now you're in the market to buy again, then it might be a great situation for you. So I think it's just awesome to have these kinds of opportunities, these kinds of things that are available for people. And they are, and we can just absolutely help you get them. Now, there are a few other loan products and that kind of thing out there that might be of interest to you. If you're a veteran, you can get 100% financing and all of that today, which is no big deal. But there are some VA loans out there on some properties that you can actually assume that loan as a veteran and get somebody's low cost interest rate. Now, we have a house on the market that's available right now, and it is it's got a 2.25 VA loan on it. So it's about 50% of the value that has that loan. So it's not going to be all of it, but you could get a piggyback loan on top of it. And we have companies that do that. So 2.25% versus 7%, which is what a lot of things are today. So we're always looking to see if there are loans that are assumable and what's going on. I was talking to one seller this week, and their loan was at 4.99, and I said, is it assumable? And we couldn't tell if it was or not. It wasn't an FHA loan. So they called the lender, and the lender said, well, give us 5 to 10 days and come back to us, and we'll let you know if we're willing to let this loan be assumable. So there is a chance that we're still in that 5 to 10 day waiting period to find out what the scoop is on it. But there's definitely a chance that a property might have a loan that's assumable on it and that you could take advantage of getting it. Now, this particular house, it's already under contract, so we don't have to worry about it or anything, and the people that are buying it are paying cash. But the bottom line is that were that assumable, that would make that house stand out at 4.99, a couple of percent less than all of the other ones are. And basically, it would just be putting the 3.5% down, and then you could assume that loan. So it would be a pretty sweet deal for somebody in this market and everything. And you can buy down the rate in a lot of circumstances. I was just talking to the lender earlier this week that if you were buying a house at around $400,000, and how much would it be to buy that interest rate down to a 4.99 from where it's at right now? And they said roughly 20 grand is what it would cost, that you could buy down the rate from 6.75, whatever it might be at any given point in time, down to that 4.99. So pretty expensive to do that. If you're planning on staying there a while, then it makes sense. And that's about what the builders are spending when they're giving you that incentive of a 4.99 rate, is that they're spending about $20,000 in order to give you that rate. So they only do it on inventory homes, on homes that they're trying to get rid of. And for obvious reasons, it makes sense. More people can afford them and that kind of thing. That's probably our biggest thing that we have going for us right now, is basically affordability. That if you make 100,000 as a household, I mean, there's only so much that you can afford. Not if you're very frugal and all of that kind of stuff, you could maybe afford it and you could make sure that it works. But there are regulations in regards to how much of your income can be spent on housing when you have a mortgage. And so that's what really gets things into a bind. It's not really that anybody can't do it or anything like that. It basically comes down to that is absolutely, what the fact of the matter is. So basically, when it comes down to it, if you're interested in finding that kind of a rate or finding that kind of a house, just give us a call. We'll help you do that. We do that all day long, helping people solve the problems. And so when you do that, you might be able to afford 50, 100,000 more of a house, paying the same payment that you originally were, just the interest rate being lower. And so it can be a total win-win situation. So again, just give us a call if that's something that you want to do. And our number is 407-566-2555. So last thing I'm going to talk about today is the house of the week. And this is a house that is coming on the market actually this week. Not on the market yet. I'm actually meeting with the lady on Monday to sign the paperwork. I've already seen the house. We've already talked about it and everything like that. And she's moving closer to her daughter in Ocala, and she's found a place that she's ready to go to now. And this house is beautiful. It actually sits on a lake. And it's in Claremont. It's not a navigable lake like a big ski lake or anything like that, but it's got a beautiful view. You can see the sunset and all of those great things from it. Lots of wildlife, and I believe you can put small boats on the lake, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check that when I'm there on Monday. But so she's got a lovely backyard, lovely view of all of that. She's got an extended screen room. Because of that, it is not in a 55 plus community. It's in a regular community where anybody can live. I believe it is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-story home, 2-car garage. And it is in a gated community. And that community is really pretty. There's only about 25 or 30 homes in that community, and everything is very wooded and not overly wooded, but it's just got a very serene feel and a lot of shade and everything like that in the front yards, which people like these days, and especially this time of year when it gets extremely, warm out, let's say, and all of that kind of good stuff. So if you're interested in this house, like I said, it's not even on the market yet. It's going to come on probably Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. By the time we get pictures and get everything going and all that is basically what's going to happen. And then I'm sure we're going to be doing an open house next week. But at this point, it is not on there yet. So if you'd like to get more information, just give us a call and we will be happy to get all that information to you. So in order to get in touch with us, you can call or text 407-566-2555. You can find us online at centralfloridarealestateradio.com, and we will see you next week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.